We're talking about Small Things Like These, which is out right now in limited release from Lionsgate, featuring a terrific Cillian Murphy performance and a very different one from the one that won him an Oscar for Oppenheimer.
Yes.
It is based on a novella by Claire Keegan. Alonso, what is it about?
Well, no one told me this was a Christmas movie, but it kind of is.
It kind of is like the saddest Christmas movie ever.
Of the super bummer variety.
Please! No! Please! Listen to me! I'm not going in there! I am not inside! Daddy!
Cillian Murphy plays a guy named Bill Furlong. He is working class. He drives a coal truck, has a coal yard, and has 5 young, daughters at home of varying ages, up through about like high schoolish age. And it's the early 80s, and it's Christmas time, which brings back a lot of memories for him of his own childhood, which was difficult. He his mother was unwed, and that kind of plays upon his realization of what's going on at a convent nearby that is on his route of people that he brings coal to. If you've seen the Magdalene sisters, if you've seen Philomena, you know about the whole Irish mother-baby home scandal, which didn't get a lot of play in the U.S., was a very, very big deal in the U.K., where the Catholic Church ran these barbarous homes for unwed mothers, where the young girls were treated really badly. Their children were taken away from them. This went on for decades, and it's a piece of history now. But this movie isn't about that as much as it's about Bill kind of coming to terms with his own past and coming to understand his ability to stand up in the face of this thing that society and the church and all these other people are kind of telling him, well, this is how it is, and this is how it should be, and don't make waves, and we don't talk about this. And it's a beautiful performance from Cillian Murphy, because it's so internal. Like, he speaks very little, and so much of it is about the way that he holds himself and the expression on his face and the way that he scrubs the coal dust off his hands every day, with a brush. And there's a scene where he's doing it, and I'm just like, oh my God. I got very nervous about the brush. Like, he was going so hard. I was like, he's going to start bleeding. This is freaking me out, Cillian Murphy.
It's very symbolic, the scrubbing of the hands.
No, absolutely. it all plays into the character. Emily Watson plays the Mother Superior of the convent, and she's the scariest nun since the Nun. That's right. My blurb for this. But yeah, this is a very quiet, brooding drama. No, it's one of those movies where nobody ever feels like they're warm. Like, it's just so cold and wet and, Irish. Yeah, it's a fucking bummer, but it's a really powerful character study, and I'm glad I saw it.
Yeah, really understated, because the thing with Cillian Murphy is that his very presence, his face, it's so fascinating, because he's so beautifully angular, and those blue eyes are so crystal clear, and they can convey like a terrifying persona and somebody who you do not trust, or they can suggest a vulnerability and
a broken soul.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of the latter here in this performance, because he is, inherently a decent guy. And so what's tough about the performance is, as you say, like, so much of it is internal, and so much about him is just that he's a good guy trying to, just take care of his family and do the right thing in this small town in Ireland. And that might sound like not the most exciting character to play. Emily Watson gets the very exciting role here, because, she is so chilling as this nun who rules this place like a mob boss.
Yeah.
And pays people off for their silence.
And it's one of those performances where, like, she never does or says anything overtly threatening.
Right.
But everything she says is, subtextually threatening. And she just has that power to sort of hold the screen that way. And yeah, no, absolutely. She is the Tony Soprano of, like, Irish nuns.
Right. She never says, like, nice coal business you got there.
Sure, be a real shame
if something happened to it.
Yeah.
She never says that, but like, he's got 5 daughters, and so he's got people's futures in his hand, and they live a very modest life.
She runs the school,
right? And as they've people point out in the film, like this wall separates the school from the convent, and everyone knows everyone, and it may seem like a very specific place and time, but the lessons to glean here and the hope to take from it is like, what happens if you don't look the other way? What happens if you don't keep silent? What happens if you do stand up for what's right? Which sounds corny or heavy-handed, what have you, but it's so understated here. It's really, really beautifully done.
Are you gonna take the easy path and collaborate with something that you know is immoral, or are you going to make a stand, even if that means you will lose something in the bargain? And this movie ends so brilliantly, and that's all I'll say about it.
Yes, I agree. I agree, and I also appreciate that they don't show us what's happening at this convent. We don't ever see it.
We hear things.
We hear things, and we get like glimpses through like passing by a doorway.
Yeah.
Like passing down a hall.
Yeah.
But that makes it even scarier what you don't see, right?
Yeah.
What they just imply is even scarier.
There's a moment in the sound design where the sound of honking geese outside, he walks inside and it becomes like the sound of a crying baby. It's very unsettling.
Yeah, and the difference between what the superior's office looks like, with the wood, the rich opulent wood paneling and the fire
the
glowing,
tea service and
the beautiful desk that she writes cards on, like it all looks like it's on the up and up, and then you see what sort of conditions you get a glimpse of the conditions that these young women are actually in. Yeah, very effective in the cinematography because a lot of it is in the darkness. As you say, it feels like a place that's cold all the time. People are sitting around like tiny kitchen tables and like reaching over to get toast off the stove. Like it's intimate and working class, but I think they achieve a lot with the look of it to make you feel like the insularity of this place.
For sure. Yeah. This is it's a little movie and it's not getting the giantest of releases, but keep an eye out for it. It's really worth checking out.
Yeah, I can imagine though, like come awards time, people will talk about Cillian Murphy here again.
Or Emily Watson, yeah. It would be nice.
For sure. So this is in theaters in limited release, probably going wider as we go along here. What is your number then on Small Things Like These?
I'll say like a 7.8. Yeah, it really struck me to the core.
Yeah, everyone's great in it. I will say an 8, yeah, because it's understated and sort of really uncomfortable in the watching of it, but it sticks with you. Like the mood really lingers with you, and I feel like also the flashback structure is very effective.
Yes,
it's not obvious as to when it's going to come or what it's going to show, but it's really informative as to his revelations.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that like once you get to the last one, you're like, oh, okay, gotcha.
Yes. All right. So Small Things Like These is in theaters. Go check it out.